right, I was watching, I think I mentioned this earlier or whenever. ESPN got like a podcast and YouTube called The First Draft. You can watch it on YouTube. They done a couple episodes, and you can listen to it on podcast version, wherever they got it. That's called ESPN's First Draft. McShay and Mel Kiper. And one thing I noticed about it is apparently C.J. Stroud is rising. Will Levis' name, according to McShay and Mel Kiper, is rising, even though there's some concerns there. But the one name that's falling is Bryce Young. And this is the first draft, kind of look at it. But right now, they saying there's some concerns about Bryce Young's size, his arm strength, which I really ain't really looking to his arm strength, but they said if he was 200 pounds, it would probably be a different story. Now, apparently, they went into how Will Levis, is a great leader. He got all these intangibles and this, that, and the third. He was the most talented passer at the Peyton Manning Passing Academy, and that's t-shirts and shorts and stuff. And they went to kind of praising him. And one thing I did look at him a little bit, like he thrived off of play action, but he got a real live arm. I will say that. Bryce Young, I mean, I don't think he, got a cannon, but one thing about it, you got to understand, too, in the National Football League, it's a copycat league. They copied the Wildcat, they copied the option from college football, and they copied the spread football from college football, too. And once one thing go right, you see Kyler go down with a knee injury, you see Baker Mayfield struggling, you see it's another one, Tua Tagovailoa not being able to stand up to the hits. So they gonna go to Bryce Young and say, man, can he go outdoors? And they kind of saying with Indianapolis Colts make a lot of sense for him. And I think they had 1 or 2 picks before us. I think it might 1 pick before us. I think it's Chicago, Houston, probably Seattle, Indianapolis, Chicago, Houston. What would I say? Seattle, Indianapolis. No, they probably 4th. I think they're the 4th pick in the draft. 5th, I can't remember who 5th is. We 6, so 5th is somebody. But it is Chicago, Houston. I think Seattle 3rd or 4th. I think Indianapolis 3rd, 4th, or 5th, something like that. So my bad. I ain't got my computer, but it's Chicago, Houston, Arizona, Seattle from Denver, and then Indianapolis, I believe, at 5. So, it might be a chance where you can move up and he fall to you, and obviously he got the connection with Jameson Williams. So that might be a conversation. They're going to try to push up Will Levis, and I'm not going to get into reasons why. We know why. He got a live arm, and, he got the complexion. You don't like to hear that, just, what it is. They did it with Blaine Gabbert. They did it with Blake Bortles. They did it with Daniel Jones. They was trying to say, I think, was it Gabbert should have went before Cam Newton. They was trying to push that narrative. And I ain't saying that he ain't talented. Like I said, I'm in love with his arm strength, bro. He got okay Big Ben Roethlisberger type mobility. So a little bit I've seen of him. So you got Stroud, who's a fast riser because of his game versus Georgia. And his just natural talent. And then, Levis and Young and Anthony Richardson, who moved up in the middle of a lot of mocks. I think he gonna rise, especially if he work out well and interview well at the chalkboard. But like I said, you might have an opportunity to get Bryce Young at 6. And that ain't what we want to hear. We really want to hear that, Jalen Carter is gonna fall to us number 6. But if we want Jalen Carter bad enough, that's doable. You can move up and get him. And you say, well, what's an ideal scenario for you before I actually dive in and start studying these guys, which is probably going to be next week without no football on? Right now, without me watching, a lot of these guys, just from the naked eye, you end up with Jalen Carter, you end up with Jalen Ramsey, you end up with a Bijan Robinson or Zach Charbonnet. That's just from the, just look at this, not even digging in deep. I think that's kind of, right now, and it's going to change my ideal scenario. We end up with a real veteran corner. So, but yeah, you might have a chance to get Bryce Young. You say, well, if I get Bryce Young, do you plug him in right away? And I think that's what it should happen with Tua. He should have got on the strength program. and you say, well, you know, you don't want to take away from his mechanics. You know, what you want to do is you want to put a lot of that weight on their legs. But the difference between Tua and Bryce Young is that Tua Tagovailoa is not as athletic and dynamic as Bryce Young. And I think Bryce Young might have a better arm, but I have to do more, you know, more looking at that. But going into the dome, but you need somebody that's going to go outside. You need somebody that's going to go outside and throw that thing. You see with Jared Goff, a lot of people feel like, you know, the ball not coming out how it's supposed to come out with Jared Goff. So you got to remember, as a quarterback, you need somebody that's comfortable with going outside, throwing that thing. You know, Stroud playing, and, you know, he from the West Coast. You know, he started off in Snoop's, football league, too. Little known fact. But, you know, he been playing in Ohio. So, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, I just think when you're looking for the next quarterback, that's why I like Lamar so much, is because Lamar's been able to prove to go out in all elements and play. Being in Baltimore, being a South Florida boy, he made the adjustment. And he played in Louisville, too. I think it get pretty cold down there. You ever drove through there, Jesus Christ, it's like you driving for days through Louisville. That's a big city. But nonetheless, yeah. He proved that he can play outside. He can spin it outdoors. And that's something else. We going to have to go through Chicago. We got to go through Green Bay. So when you talk about Bryce Young, you know, do you believe he got enough arm and size? You know, and like I said with Chicago, if Chicago was to pick him, it kind of reset their rebuild, bro. Because now you got $100 million in free cap, but most of that cap got to go to interior linemen first, especially in the interior, to create that pocket for him. Jesus Christ. To create that pocket. That's what you got to do. You got to create that pocket. Just like Drew Brees can step up in the pocket and do those things, you got to create a pocket for him. Now, if you say going to Detroit right away, you know, come in, yeah, they got a good offensive line right away, you know, good running game, but you know, I don't want to seem like I'm pushing to remove Jared Goff. But the thing about it, and I'm gonna do a live, probably Friday, I don't know. But the thing about it is, once you look at how naked the quarterback has become in the NFC, you could tip the balance in your favor like that, bro. You got a lot of options, but I think it's time to prepare to move on. If Jared Goff step it up, fuck it. Guess what? If I trade for a Trey Lance or I pick up Bryce Young, I showcase him in preseason, I get compensation back. New England did it on a regular basis. Whether it's Ryan Mallett, Matt Castle, Brian Hoyer, Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo. You know? And that should never change. Keeping somebody young or competent. We had Sean Hill. Everybody felt very confident when Stafford went down for a minute. Sean Hill can get us through. Nobody confidence really wavered off of Sean Hill. Sean Hill was competent. If you can just get that. But really, they need the future. They need somewhat of a future, keeping Goff or not keeping Goff. But if Bryce Young is there, I mean, it's a conversation that you got to have. And if it don't fit, guess what? It don't fit. Because you got requirements. You need somebody to be able to go outside. People want people to be able to run. Do throw the ball outside, spin it, take the beating. We don't need no more fragile people. That's all respectable. Honestly, I ain't mad at it. But that's one thing you like about Lamar Jackson. Let's say you bring in Tom Brady, right? Everybody all the time is falling off and this, that, and the third. Okay. He lost his whole offensive line. And three things gonna happen with Tom Brady. Just to play, not saying that I want him, just to talk about it. 3 things gonna happen with Tom Brady. You know? And those 3 things are, you're gonna get compensation for Jared Goff, right? You're not going to waste no draft picks on Tom Brady. He's going to sign a team-friendly deal. He's going to get his money, but it's not going to break your wallet. And you're going to instantly be a primetime team week in, week out. What you've done, beating Green Bay, rolling, your momentum you had last season going to roll you into some primetime games next year, at least 1 or 2. Brady you're going to be primetime every week. You're going to be primetime every week. Every week you're going to be primetime. Every week. Like, that car went out over here, so. My power didn't go out. So, and your revenue your revenue gonna jump through the roof. Not saying I would do it, you know, but I'm just saying. But if you go Brady Golf, you gonna need even if you go Lamar Jackson, you gonna need a Purdy or somebody, or Garoppolo or Sean Hill in the wings. But Bryce Young is a conversation that looked like it might be viable. Will Levis is a conversation I gotta see more. I can't just go off what the hate people got for him or the love people. I gotta see it for myself. And I tell you, I'm in love with his arm, though. I ain't lying. But talent, raw talent, potential will get you capped. Same thing with the Richardson kid from Florida. All that physical talent. But if the mechanism not to be a quarterback ain't there, the work ethic and the mechanics and the natural talent not there, you can't make him into a quarterback. He raw. But that rawness is worth the first round pick. It is. You know. But you got, you know, I think the Lions, I'm probably going to get killed for this, but I think the Lions, their offense is starting to be set up like San Francisco, where the system is going to allow a quarterback to prosper. That's why I don't mind Trey Lance, because you want to run the ball, play action. What Goff brings to the table that them young quarterbacks don't, other than Bryce Young, and maybe Stride, with Bryce Young for sure, other than Bryce Young for sure to be safe, is that he able to go underneath, and he able to attack every inch of the field with his arm. He'd take it short. We seen him take it short. He first got here. They got him some weapons going downfield. He accurate downfield. He accurate inside the hashes. He accurate outside the hashes. He on time. He gonna hang in there and take a shot. That's what made Ben Johnson offense even better. That was the supplement for not having legs, and ultimately that's what wins championships. Like it or not, pocket players will win championships. That's what does it. Pocket play. But that with Bryce Young, what you will be able to get. But the problem is going outside in the cold. Can he take the beating? Can he spin it? That's your question. Can he physically hold up and can he spin it in the cold? People say, well, Drew Brees had the shoulder injury. He managed. Sean Payton made him an adjustment. When they lost Chicago in the NFC Championship game in New Orleans, he said, we got to be more physical. We got to take the ball out of Drew's hands a little bit, and we got to run the ball and be more physical. We got to be a dome team that can go outdoors and be an outdoors team. And that's what Dan Campbell bringing to Detroit. He bringing an outdoor mentality that Matt Patricia tried to bring, but he couldn't bring. He bringing a physicality. So, but you want somebody to be, that's the only thing Jared Goff, that's a requirement, don't really check off the box, is he can't really spin it outdoors the way you really want him to spin it. And Stafford kind of, he had a big arm, but Stafford kind of, you know, wore the gloves, but he cool. But that's one thing, you talk about Trey Lance, you won't get. Levis right now, a little bit I seen of him, you won't get. Is somebody who's going to be able to attack every inch of the field as a passer. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really necessarily have to live off the play action or the run with Jared Goff. You know, he's short game, he going to attack every inch of the field. But eventually, Trey Lance and those guys, other than Bryce Young, they get there, and they're going to be able to do it with their feet. But it's going to be a conversation to have. Jamison Williams probably vie for him, being his college quarterback. They're going to have that they're going to like to have an opportunity to have that conversation, bro. You know, if it's Levis, unless they all have hot combines, and that might work out for the Lions, end up getting Jalen Carter. You know, but they might be able to have that conversation, y'all. And that might be something to look at. But, you know, ideally, from a need standpoint of view for the Lions, what you want and what you really want is there a super run on quarterbacks, and you end up with Jalen Carter. That's kind of what you want. You want Levis to do well. You want Young to do well. You want Stroud to do well. That's 3 picks right there. You want Richardson to jump and somebody reach for Richardson. That's 4. You say, well, Chicago gonna take Will Anderson. That's 5 picks, so hopefully Carter's sitting there at 6'2". So you want them 5 quarterbacks to jump up there, to be honest. But it seems it got a long way to go, bro. Somebody might have a medical condition. Somebody might get injured. So it's just a long draft road. But what they nitpicking Bryce Young about, you might have an opportunity to add him to your team. A year or 2 down the road. Me personally, I still will keep golf around. And I would physically build up Bryce Young's strength. And that might be the same thing with Levis. He dealt with some injuries. See if we can help him from a nutritional standpoint, strength and conditioning standpoint, strengthen the core, the legs, you know, from that standpoint. I still may do it. But Jalen Carter, from what we need and what we've been missing since Adamic and Sue, we need that. That's just what the missing piece is to me. If you had to ask me, like, well, what is the biggest missing piece for the Lions? And it's both on the defensive side of the ball for me right now. It's an interior pass rush, which you could cross your fingers and bet on Levi Anazork if you want, and a veteran corner. Don't have to be Jalen Ramsey. Don't have to be, you know, a Chris McAllister or a Darrell Green, but somebody that you could depend on. That can be Okuda 1A, Okuda 1B, or somebody like that. Somebody can be 1A, 1B, and you can go for Jalen Ramsey. I ain't tripping. You ain't gonna get no complaints out of me about Jalen Ramsey. I'm all for it. It's just what the compensation gonna boil down to, and if you want to be here. So, you know, that's just the biggest question. But they got some, you know, but that veteran corner and that inside linebacker and a running back is kind of what they kind of missing. You know, you tell me DeAndre Swift can remain healthy, I mean, shit, ain't no issue with that. But that's not the case. But y'all know my love, me and Aaron Choice, our love for Zach Charbonnet. I love some Charbonnet at Michigan, bro. I ain't really get to see him at UCLA. But if he was running real well in Chip Kelly offense, he gonna do well regardless wherever he go. From the gun, the spread, the pro-style offense, I was mad as hell when Michigan got rid of him. I love some Charbonnet. That dude was nice. Even as a true freshman, bro. He was nice, bro. Nice size back. Good speed. I mean, it wasn't nothing you didn't like. I always wondered, man, like Sam McGuffey that came in, man, he had the best. I was talking to this a couple months ago, somebody at the barbershop. Sam McGuffey had the best highlight tape I seen in high school. And we used to debate in the dorm room. It was him, Joe McKnight, DeMarco Murray, and Reggie Bush. Let me not disrespect Reggie, but Sam McGuffey was a white boy that went to Michigan. And I'm not going to put his business what happened at Michigan per se. He just didn't really fit in with the culture up here. You know, kids and teenagers can be cruel. But man, that dude was physically talented. Man, this is one of the best white running back. That's the best white running back I ever seen, bro, in high school. I'm telling you. And, don't forget my man's up there that would he go to Grand Rapids Christian? What's the white? Remember, man, this white boy is bad back in the day when I went to high school. Joe Glendale. I don't think he going to Hillsman or he went to some Division II school. But Joe Glendale was another bad white boy. He was from the state of Michigan. That dude was rushing for like 300, 400, 500 yards a game in high school, bruh. I don't know who really followed high school football in the late 2000s. But Joe Glendale, bruh, I'd never forget that man's name. He was another bad white boy, too. Yeah, another bad. But Sam McGuffey was just an athlete. But yeah, Sam McGuffey, Joe McKnight, DeMarco Murray, Reggie Bush will be the 3 highlight tapes that we used to talk about as being the 4 or 5 best we seen, bro, at the time. But I don't know, we gave it to Sam McGuffey because he was white and we had never seen a white boy do stuff like that. But man, that was that's a bad football player. You know, he ended up, I think, going to Holy Cross or Holy Redeemer or something like that. And yeah, man, I talked to somebody on the team, man. One day we was working out together. He told me kind of it wasn't a fit, but yeah, check out. He was from Texas too, by the way. But check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live, we drop a video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Hit the link tree, find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.